So this only took us about, let's see, what time is it? 9:30, and we tried to go live at 8. So cheers to that. I've got my
Just a little bit of work.
wine, and I've got Jeremy here, and we are going to tell a little story. Story
Story
time!
time.
Yay! Great minds, great minds. All right. So, let's chit chat, Jeremy. Tell me a little about yourself. Tell everybody about yourself, what your name is, what you do.
So I'm Jeremy. I'm kind of waving my wall apparently. There we go. That's better. Um, so I actually work with Thylene here. So
He sits right
yeah,
across from me. So,
like this far. Like
yeah, super close.
yeah.
For now.
For now. Unfortunately, I have a desk a long ways away, and they are putting me there on Sunday.
Oh, that quick?
Yep.
You will be
We had
greatly
3 months.
missed.
So
Well, that's okay because I run around on the floor all the time. So I will see you. But we will have a farewell shot.
I will still be on the second floor, luckily. So not going too
Perfect,
far.
because those stairs are not my friend.
I've almost taken a spill on them once, so they're not my friend either.
All right, so let's just hop right into it. Jeremy was adopted just like I was, and he has a very interesting story as he's telling me. I haven't even heard the whole story yet. I was like, look, homie, time for you to hop on my channel. Your story needs to be heard. It's an awesome story, and it needs to be out there. So why don't we start just with the basics. When were you adopted? When did you know you were adopted? Stuff like that.
So I was adopted like 5 minutes after I was born. At least that's when it became real. So I've only heard this, the story secondhand. Unfortunately, my memory doesn't go back that far.
Right.
So my adopted parents had been trying to have kids for a few years, couldn't do so. Eventually turned to adoption and went through my mom's OB office. And so he did private adoptions through his practice, and my mom got a call on late Friday night that there was a baby available. So I was essentially adopted. I don't know how to put this. Like, I couldn't be taken from the state right away because of the Idaho adoption laws. So I had to stay within the state of Idaho for the first couple days, but I got to meet my adoptive family within 5 or 6 hours of being born. Fast forward 19, 20 years later at this point. 21 years later. Wow, how long has it been?
How old are you, Jeremy?
I'm 30 now, but I was 22. When I was 22, I was getting a hold of some adoption papers, and one of the
So you've always known,
documents,
right? You've always
yes,
known.
I
you're
have known
adopted,
since
right?
I was probably 6, 7,
Okay.
old enough to understand it,
Right. Yeah.
kind of.
Kind of. Yeah. It's a process. It's a learning
It
process
is.
as you grow.
So, and I started out at least with the information young, so it wasn't really a shock to me. I've always had like a curiosity as to who my family was and
Yeah.
why I was adopted, but didn't really have any answers. And so when I was about 22, my mom had given me all the paperwork for my adoption, and the papers also included an unredacted medical bill. So I had a name to go by, which this was a closed adoption. Everything should have been blacked out or otherwise removed. So had a name to go by, and I knew I was born in Idaho. I knew I was born in Coeur d'Alene. So I actually went online and searched the white pages, and all I found was a name and an address, no phone number. But I figured the name's unique enough. Her name was Carmel. So her name is unique enough that there's probably not a lot of Carmels in Idaho. And I mailed her a letter and
So
had almost
I'm going to
forgotten
stop
about
you really
it.
quick. So you just had a name to go on. You had this paperwork, and it was just a bill that you got, a
Yep.
bill that was on your record, and it had a name on it. And you were like, okay, so I have a name to go off of. And then you flipped to the white pages, and you picked one person with that name, and you just sent them a letter and hoped for the best. Is that?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, so I knew where I was born at, and I had a name to go by, which I'm hoping was the right person. It was the bill was for her for a what are those things? Ultrasound. So it was an ultrasound bill. So I'm guessing it was the right person.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
And when I searched for the white pages results, there was one result in the state of Idaho that happened to be in the same in the same city.
Okay.
So I figured, I mean, it's been 22 years at this point. What are the odds the person still lives there? But
Right. But here we go.
hope for the best. And so I mailed out this letter, and it was just, hey, this is who I am, and this is who I think you are. I was adopted, in 1989. This is all I know about you. This is how I found your information. Here's a current picture of me, and here's my phone number. You can send me a letter. You can throw this thing away and burn it. You can call me, whatever's comfortable for you. But if you are who I think you are, I'd like to speak to you. And so I'd kind of forgotten about it at that point. It had been probably 2 weeks or so, and I was at work. I had actually just gone to lunch, and I got a phone call as I was going to lunch. So now where I worked at, you couldn't have your phone out on the production floor, so I couldn't actually see who was calling in. I kind of took a quick glance in my pocket and saw it was an Idaho area code. So got out to my car, and I had a voicemail waiting.
So did you, when you saw the Idaho area code, did your heart just like stop?
It did. I mean, I mean, for all I knew, it could have been a collector. So, I mean, I didn't have super high hopes, but it was, it's not an area code that comes across my phone very often. So I had a little bit of excitement there.
Yeah.
And then she left a voicemail, and on the message, she knew who I was. So,
what did she say?
Good. So she left a message with her name on there, saying that I am the person you're looking for, and I had a son that was adopted out when he was born in 1989, born on February 25th. So she knew.
I just got chills.
it was kind of surreal to hear the voicemail.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I didn't even listen to the whole thing at that point. I immediately called her back. So I called her. We were talking, and it was just kind of I didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to say. We were just kind of, we knew of each other's existence, but didn't at the same time.
Right.
So I called out from work. I actually had put her on hold and called out to our attendance line, and I wasn't coming back in for the day. We talked for 2-3 hours that day. In that first conversation.
Did you sit in the parking lot of Comcast and do it?
I did. So actually, I wasn't at Comcast at the time. I was with another company back then.
Oh. But you never left
I sat in their parking lot.
Parking lot. So you just called out and sat in the parking lot for hours talking to your birth mom.
Yep. So I remember I sat in the parking lot for quite a long time talking to her, and eventually I started the car up and started driving home. Figure I'm going to be here for a while. I might as well at least beat traffic. So, yeah, she knew right away. She knew who I was. Apparently, she had something similar where she had an unredacted document. The problem is at the time, so really couldn't try to reach out to me until I was 18. Right. So once I turned 18, she went by. She had my name, like my first name on there, and she had my adopted father and my adopted mom's name. Now, my adopted dad actually died when I was 13, so he's no longer to be found. And my adopted mom had remarried before after, so they split when I was young, probably I think 1 or 2.
Okay.
So she had remarried at one point. He'd also remarried as well, but he obviously kept his last name. But when he passed, that kind of cuts off everything there. And she had remarried, so different last name to go by, and we were not in the same town. So at
But
the
didn't she
time that I
hyphen?
was,
She hyphened her name, no?
so my adopted mom did not. My biological mom hyphenated, so
Yeah,
that way I could
yeah, your
actually find her,
biological mom. So your biological mom stayed in the same house.
or at least in the same area.
Okay. And she kept herself like however you would say it. She kept herself to where you could see in the white pages. Didn't remove herself or whatever.
Correct. So when
Yeah.
she got married, she hyphenated her last name in case I ever went looking for her.
Specifically. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So your dad remarried and she remarried. Your birth father, right? Your birth father.
I'm my adopted family. So not my biologicals.
Oh, okay. So your
So
what I'm
when
getting
my
at is
biological mom went looking for me, she hit roadblocks because the parents that I was adopted into had either passed away or remarried or otherwise weren't didn't no longer matched up with the information that she had.
okay. Yeah. So she had dead ends.
Exactly.
Okay.
So she kind of gave up the search for me. Apparently, she tried when I would have been about 18 or 19, and just figured it was probably not going to happen.
Oh,
So for her to suddenly
how
get a letter from me in the
heartbreaking.
mail, oh yeah.
To like
I
go
mean,
down
she
that
told me when she got
journey
the
and
letter,
hit dead
she
end, dead end, dead end, and then and then you go through a and this is on both sides, right? Us being adopted and them as well. Like if you hit a dead end, you mentally put yourself in a position where you kind of grieve and then you have to move on because you still have to live your life, right? So she went through that process where she grieved again and then she moved on with her life and then out of nowhere a letter drops in her mailbox. Wow. Just
I mean,
wow.
and she even told me like when she got the letter, it was like she knew who I was as soon as she got the letter, and she had told me she sat on it for about a week or so, a week and a half before she actually called me. Because she didn't know what to say. She didn't know, what to expect. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. So I figured that letter was just going to go off in the middle of nowhere, not actually get delivered to someone's house and have it be the right person, let alone still be a valid address.
Right. Wow. That's crazy. So tell me, like, what is it like now? Like, are you guys close?
So I talk to her every couple of months. I mean, we're not like direct contact every single day.
Yeah.
Every month or two, we'll call and make sure we're still alive and keep in touch. And we still see each other on Facebook.
Healthy,
I actually
happy, and
have 2
safe.
biological sisters, though.
That was my next question. So she remarried. My next question was, did she have any kids? More kids.
So all 3 of us are a year and a half apart. So I have an older sister and a younger sister. Um, so
Oh, wow.
I'm the middle child, and so 3 kids, 3 different dads. So we're all kind of split apart, and that's a whole other story in itself. That would be a fun one to if I could ever get my sister on here.
That I would love to get her on here and just go to town. Because
My sister didn't realize that she had known her mom growing up for years.
your older
Uh,
sister?
yes.
Okay.
So she wasn't adopted out. Her dad had custody of her, and
Oh.
so whenever they would go out to dinner or out to breakfast, the restaurant they went to, she had no idea that her mom was the waitress.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, so that was a cool
Shut
story.
your
So that's a
dirty
whole story
mouth.
all in itself.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine the psychological. Well, when did she find that out? When she was an adult or a teenager? Because
Nope.
psychologically.
When she was still a child.
Oh God.
and it actually worked out really well because they're close. So, I mean, it grew up as dad's friend is actually mom, so they're really
I can't even
close. And
imagine. Ooh, I can't even imagine feeling that I I can't fathom that story. Like, good for them for having a healthy relationship and getting through that. But to me, I can't imagine thinking, "Oh, that's the friend." And then like, "No, that's my mom." Like, I don't know. That's a
it's
hard one.
when you hear them talking about it, it doesn't seem as odd. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it would. I mean, because it's their story and they've gotten over that hoop, or you know what I mean? Like they've moved on from that and they've accepted it for what it is. But when people hear that, they're not going to be like, "Oh, best friends." Like, you know,
Yeah.
like sisters.
See, and I think for her, she was at a young enough age that it also wasn't like I don't think it had a.
Fair
I don't
enough.
think it
I
would,
get it.
was as bad as it would have been had she been an adult and found
Or
out.
a teenager. Yeah, cuz psychologically, especially as a teenager, because that's when I was affected myself. So I can relate to a lot of these stories just because there's so many different things that had happened to me. So I can relate to finding information out as a teenager. And when you're a teenager, you're freaking psycho yourself. You know, like you're trying to figure out who you are, what you're going to do with your life. And emotionally, you're not very strong as a teenager, typically, right? The typical teenager. And so to find something out like that when you're a teenager can totally screw you up, you know?
Oh
So
yeah.
maybe it just happened at the perfect time for them and she was young enough to not have a stigma or a judgment about it. It just is what it was, or was what it was. Words are hard.
I'm, I'm actually trying to find a picture of her right now and see if I can show you my sister. So me and my sisters are actually pretty close. So especially my older sister, we talk pretty frequently. If not daily, every couple of days at the least.
That's
So we're
cool.
always on Facebook or texting. So let me see here. Let me see if it'll let me share my browser screen here with you.
That would be awesome.
Let's do share screen. And we'll put that one up. There we go. Let's see if that comes through. There she is. So this is Christina. This is my biological older sister.
Hi, sister.
And
Oh, she's cute. Little
and
redhead.
through her, I've got a couple nephew. Or I have a nephew and a niece through her as well.
Oh. And you guys, you get to see them and
So I've met them. I've met my nephew a couple times. I have not met. I met my niece once. That's a whole other complication.
yeah.
But I get to talk to them on occasion. I see them on Skype. I see them. Like I said, we talk. I try to go over there at least once a summer. I mean, it's a bit of a drive because going from I'm down the Portland area, going all the way up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Oh, yeah.
So
That puts a wrench in it.
and I do the drive. I don't fly over. I don't. So yeah, it's a bit of a trip.
That's what social media is good for.
Exactly.
Keeping
So
in
Skype
touch,
is a wonderful
pictures,
thing.
Skype, yeah. So, okay, so you have two sisters. So so I'm just going to throw this out there, ask the hard questions, okay? So did your mom ever tell you why
Oh yeah.
why she put you up for adoption?
So she was not in a position to have a child, and my biological father was not as well.
Okay.
So now I've actually talked to my biological father as well on here. I've never actually met him in person, which says a lot considering we currently live in the same city. So
Wow.
I actually didn't realize that for years he lived a couple miles away from me.
This is your biological father?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we talked a couple
Wow.
times, and he even told me at the time he probably would have fought the adoption, but that he also wouldn't have been in a position to have a child. So she's strongly against abortion. So adoption was the only option for her. So that's what she chose to go with, and even that, it. Um, my biological dad knew that he had a child. He did not know if I was a boy or girl.
Oh,
He did
wow.
not know where I was when I was born, anything. Just
So is
that,
this information that your birth mom gave you?
actually, both her and him. So apparently, she actually kept tabs on him for years. That way, if I ever returned up,
So
um,
she would have answers for you.
correct.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was interesting because she actually knew how to get a hold of him, even though he had no idea how to find her. And this is, we're talking 20 plus years later.
Right.
Um, she called him at work and said, "Hey, this is Carmel. Your son turned up. Also, you have a son."
Also, by the way, side note.
So yeah, that kid you gave up, practically unknowingly 22 years ago, turns out it's a boy, and he was talking.
That's funny. So you did get to talk to him, right? Because you said that he passed. No?
Oh no! So my adopted father passed. My
Okay.
biological dad's still alive and well, right here in Vancouver, as far as I know.
Wow.
And
So have you guys talked? Have you.
we've talked on the phone a couple times, never actually met in person. I actually have not talked to him in several years. He just kind of vanished. So, I mean, I say he's alive and well, but I actually don't know if he's alive and well at this point. Excuse
Can
me.
we look him up right now?
He had a Facebook, and now he does not show up on Facebook anymore. And I've had other people search for him as well. I mean, makes me think he got rid of his profile. Just for giggles, I'm gonna try and see if I can find him here.
I'm also going to Ancestry.
Yeah. Um, wow, I suddenly
Ancestry.
blanked out on what his name is. I should know
Are you
this.
serious?
Um,
Dad!
let's see here. I know what it is. Uh,
Here, text me his name so I can look. Are you okay with putting his name out there
oh yeah.
or
Oh, I just found him. I know exactly where he's at.
oh,
He's on
okay.
LinkedIn, and his LinkedIn profile puts him at the same job he had um, when I talked to him. I'm going to go ahead and I'll text this to you right now.
Okay.
Do you want it on like Messenger, or where do you want me to send this to you?
Text it to my cell phone.
Oh, I can do that. Oops. Let's see here. Let's do that. Chat with Thylene. Send. I just sent you his
I got it.
LinkedIn profile, and here's his name separately. See if you can find him on Facebook. I'd be very curious. As well, he exists on here. He also does not have any acquaintances through that. But yeah, he just randomly just vanished from me, so I don't know what the deal is. Like I said, I've had other people look under different profiles, under different Facebooks altogether, just in case maybe he had blocked me or something and he wasn't on there.
Right.
So,
Hold on. I'm going to do a quick search. Can you throw out a birth year, a roundabout? Or actually,
I
Washington. Is that good? Washington?
yep, he's in Washington.
Okay. That's good enough. Let's see. Buddy. Do you know
Makes
his
me
birthday?
wonder. I don't.
I do.
That's one of the hard parts is I don't know a ton about him other than what I had in that first conversation. Did you find him?
Yup.
Where at?
Do you know his middle name?
I don't. Just his first and last.
Do you know? Let's see. I feel like. So I have a marriage record.
Do you have a city on there?
This city is Whatcom?
Whatcom County?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be accurate. I'm looking to see if he's still the manager at the location. I think he is. Like I said, I know a little bit about him.
I know who his wife is.
Oh?
Yes. I also have his yearbook picture.
Okay, that I'd like to see because I would probably know the person if I saw them. I have seen pictures.
Actually, this is not. This would be. This guy would be 90. That's not him.
Oh, he ain't that old.
Yeah.
You're looking through Ancestry?
Yes. This is how I found my family.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I think that I have one of two options. Let's call him. Actually, it's really late.
Yeah, I would not recommend calling him. I don't know if he actually wants to talk to me anymore. That's the other problem.
What
because
a loser. You're pretty cool.
I didn't keep in as close of a touch of him as I probably should have, which also makes it hard. It is not
your fault. Hush, hush.
Well, I mean, even after we met, I cut off contact with him or didn't make much of an effort afterwards either, and I think that kind of, yeah. You found him through Whatcom County?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
If it was earlier, I would call him and be like, look, your son is badass. Step up your game, homie.
I'm thinking about actually coming by his work and just talking to him. You know, he told me back when I had first spoke with him, he did tell me to, you know, if I was in the area to come talk to him or come see him. So I might take him up on that.
Be like you
whether
said.
Or not he, whether or not he still remembers saying that or not.
You should show up with like a dozen roses.
He's from Louisiana originally, so maybe show up with a crawfish boil instead.
There you go. The way to his heart.
Yeah, right through the stomach.
Heck yes.
Let's see here.
Definitely the way to my heart. My husband learned fast. Quick learner.
There we go. Birth records.
Yeah.
I'm hoping none of these death records have anything.
I didn't see any death records. I'm not showing any. Well, let me look a little further down. Yeah.
What was the spouse's first name that you had?
Betty.
Okay. So let me see here.
And the time frame, the year that I see, that looks about right. And I know that because you and I are about the same age, and when I'm looking through records, I look for dates.
Well, I had a divorce record that popped up.
270.
Clark
Well, I have an
County.
address. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm going to take a picture and send it to you now. We should totally follow up and see how things go.
I mean, I'm definitely all for it, and I'll let you know once if I'm able to get a hold of him and what he says.
Yeah. I'd be curious. So you
As
found
I know we live in the same town, so.
You do live in the same town right now?
Currently, yes.
That's ridiculous.
So now that I'm actually this close, it would be nice to have an opportunity to meet him.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've noticed since I've started my story and doing my videos. I've noticed that it's pushed people to do what they kind of think they want to do, but they don't do. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's only been a month and I'm getting phone calls from people like, hey, I found this person, or this is what's going on, and can you help? What's your opinion? And I love it. I love that people are reaching out, and I love that I can tell people's story. And I'm going to continue to do so. So if you want to set up a follow-up and maybe take a picture with your dad and show us a picture of the two of you, we can do that. Get your sister on here and talk about her crazy story, because it sounds crazy too. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not the only one with a crazy adoption story. And that's the big thing here. So,
And actually, I was just thinking as you were talking about pictures, let me go back on the history
I forgot
on
to
here
bring
a
the
little
bottle
bit.
of wine, and my wine glass is empty. It's a sad story.
You know, a Trenti cup from Starbucks will hold the entire bottle.
Listen, Linda, listen. Don't ask me twice. I actually will try that.
I'm just saying it has been tested and proven.
Well, I
There we go.
might jump on that train.
There is my display. Share my screen.
I definitely should have brought the bottle, though. Just saying.
Share this window only.
Oh, you guys are so cute. So, okay, take us down the line. Can we see your cursor?
Yeah. Can you? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we can.
So this is my younger sister, Robin.
Okay.
So in the pink on the left.
Yes.
Next to her is my birth mom. Her name is Carmel. And then right between me and Carmel, you've got Christina, who is my older sister. We are in touch the most. So, like I said, at the very least, weekly or every couple of days, there's something going on. There's always a conversation running. And then there's my big ugly mug over here on the right.
Oh, you guys meet
So this was actually taken in her backyard, in my biological mom's backyard, up over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Wow. And the two girls live in Idaho, you said? Yeah?
Yes.
The sisters? Okay. Wow. So,
yeah.
And how many years ago did you find them?
So I found them at the same time that I found my biological mom. So I actually got to talk to them all the same day this all happened. So
wow.
It's been 8 years now, or just about.
Oh my
gosh. Has it been a full 8 years? Because I'm what, 7? Yeah, it's been 8 years because I've been with current job for almost 7. So, and I met them shortly. Yeah, it's been 8 years.
Wow.
I know she. So after I talked to her and she told me I have a couple of sisters, she reached out to them and said, "Hey, I mean, they knew they had a brother, so they knew about me. They just didn't know about me. I mean,
right? Yeah.
So she talked to them and said, "Hey, he wants to talk to you. Do you, can I give him your phone number?" And vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And my older sister, there was zero hesitation. She texted me before we were even off the phone. So that was very quick. to come about. And then I got to talk to Robin, my younger sister, a little bit later that day. And it was probably a good year and a half before I actually got to meet them in person. So it was, let's see, when was that picture taken? I'd have to go back and look and see when we took that picture, but that was, that picture was taken when we first met.
So
yeah, it would probably be.
When did you first like actually go out and meet them?
I want to say it was September of 2013, roughly.
So you guys had been talking for some time before you actually went out. Yeah.
Easily year and a half before I actually was able to go meet them. And like I said, it's not like they're right down the road. This was it's a 6 to 8 hour drive for me to go over there. So it took a little bit of planning.
Yeah.
And then spent the day over there, got to meet them, got to meet my nephew. And then I actually came, so it was about 2 years later I went back over there, and that was more of a surprise visit. My biological mom did not actually know I was coming. She suspected something but wasn't quite sure. I actually had met up with my sister over there.
Wow.
And we went out to we went to dinner and had my mom meet us there.
Wow.
So
did she cry?
She teared up a little bit, but not actual all-out crying. She kind of knew something was going on when Christina said that she can't leave town that weekend.
She had it.
So she's going to be over here next month too. So I get married next month, and she's going to be at the wedding. Married? I am May 18th.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations!
Thank you. So this is actually going to be the first time that my moms meet. I'm effectively going to have 3 moms at this wedding because I'm going to have my biological mom, my adopted mom, and my stepmom through my dad's marriage.
And your mother-in-law. Boom!
And my mother-in-law. So yes, I'm basically going to have 4 moms at one wedding. And on top of that, all of my sisters get to meet as well because through my dad, I have a half-sister through my dad now, through my adopted dad, plus my stepmom's daughters. So this is like the first time that just about everybody's going to be in one place.
Wow.
And I'm the only person who's actually met all of them. So it's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah. Are you nervous about everybody meeting or?
I don't think so. So my moms have talked, at least my adopted mom and biological mom, they've talked. Occasionally they've talked on the phone. They're on Facebook together. So they're at least acquaintances, but they've never met each other in person. So that's going to be interesting for them. I know my mom's already, my adopted mom's already said, yeah, she's going to take her out for dinner that night and have a chance to actually catch up and
I love
get to know my other half, my other family.
Oh, one big happy family. So cute. Y'all better take some massive pictures, dude.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be pictures. As a matter of fact, I'll have to share the video with you because there are some people who can't make it to the wedding. There's actually going to be a live stream of the wedding there. So I can shoot you the link to that when it happens.
Yeah.
And you could possibly see the meeting happen in person.
Once you get married at work, I'll probably be at work.
It's a Saturday, so.
Yep, I work.
But yeah, you're welcome to watch. You're welcome to see the meeting of the parents because they're going to meet each other for that first time that day, and it'll probably happen right in front of the camera. So.
Okay, so let's talk about how we can live stream on my channel the meeting of your mothers. Because that is freaking epic.
If in the event that it can't be live streamed, I'll get you the video.
Okay.
So
yes,
I know I'm going to have
I'll do a story on it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. That is crazy. And I love it.
I will talk to my sister and see if she's up for talking on here. She loves talking,
Do
so
it.
um,
She loves talking, he said.
very much so.
Me too. Her and I will get along just fine.
So I'll see if I can get her to agree to pop on here. And
Absolutely. Yeah. No, let's do it. So, your story is amazing. Let's go ahead and wrap up the story. So you were adopted. You knew you were always adopted. You sent a letter hoping and praying that she would get it, but not knowing if she still lived there. You found her. You have siblings. And there's a whole other side story floating over here, which we can definitely do a video on. I'm really excited about that. And it sounds like you're getting married and they're going to meet for the first time, and we want to be a part of that. So we'll get something going on that. So, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to have you. It was tons of fun just diving into your story and getting to the nitty-gritty of what happened. Your story is amazing, and I can't believe that you sent that letter, and after all those years, she was available and was able to reach out to you from that letter. After the devastation of not being able to find you when you were 18. So that is just mind-blowing in itself. Congratulations on finding your family. This is so huge. And I hope that we can be a part of your story to come. And let's go ahead and get a video set up on that. Viewers, thank you for being with us. Go ahead and drop some comments here. If you have any questions for Jeremy, I can definitely get those to him. And subscribe to the channel and keep in touch and tune. I will be doing this hopefully every couple of weeks, if not weekly. This is the first installment of adoption stories, and that's pretty much all we got for tonight. So thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining me here, and we'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.